Hey everyone, I hope you are doing well today, and thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. And today it is quarantine kitchen because it is, I've lost count. How many days, Mahi? What are we in now? Ooh. Are we 7, 8, 9, day 9 of our self-isolation, of our chosen self-isolation? We got back from our trip around Northern America and Middle East, and we decided just for safety's sake that we would isolate ourselves. This is before any type of mandate came in from the government it was just kind of like, we're like, you know what, we've been to lots of places, so we are going to self-isolate. So it's day 9 for us, and hi to Georgina, happy Sunday. It is Sunday here in Australia. Just wanted to say, wherever you are coming from today, wherever you are, I hope that you are safe. I hope that your family are well, and I hope that you are taking all the precautions necessary for your current environment and your current situation. As we all know, it changes daily, and as it changes daily and I'm stuck in my house, I actually don't mind. I'm a bit of an introvert, so I actually don't mind being stuck in my house, to be completely honest with you. It's like I've been working towards this all my life, I'm like self-isolating within the house. So I've already self-isolated because I'm in the house, and now I'm self-isolating in different parts of the house because I'm like, yes, this is my time to shine, So I'm currently writing a book, guys, and so I'm self-isolating in the bedroom, which is the quietest place in the house, and I love the fact that the house is so full of noise. And hi to Diane joining us from Old Bar and New South Wales, Hauranaida as well. Thank you guys, it's really good to have you here, because if you're here, potentially, hopefully, what I'm hoping is that you are learning a skill that you may need a little bit of, sharpening up on. Or maybe, you were just learning a skill that you never had before. So this is the whole idea about the quarantine kitchen and me being stuck in the house and being able to hang out with you guys, which is so cool. And kia ora to Laurel joining us from Auckland. We got another Kiwi there. Hi, Linda, as well. And to Robin, good morning, Robin. So thank you, everyone, for joining me. Today's class is about stir frying, because it was one of the ones, I asked the question a couple of days ago on Bridget's Healthy Kitchen Family, the group. If you're not part of the group, you need to join. Please come and join us. So I asked the question a couple of days ago, what do you guys want to learn? Because now we've got time to learn. As we're spending more and more time at home, for some of you, you're working from home. For others, you're at home anyway, and you're just kind of hanging out with the rest of the family. And hi to Alison, just got our book. Which book did you get, Alison? Let us know. She just had that delivered to Perth. And if you are after a book, our books are still being delivered. But of course, I have multiple ebooks if you want instant delivery. Multiple ebooks. I'll get Mahi, could you please share a link to the Facebook shop? Because our Facebook shop has all the ebooks. It has all the hardcover books as well. It's there as well. So, we've got Patricia joining us from tropical Townsville. Gosh, I love it up your way, Patricia. I hope you are well, and good morning to Robin joining us from Melbourne as well. And hi, Bob, welcome. All right, so stir fry class today, which means I want to teach you guys, and it's one of those, the reason why I think it was so popular when I asked this poll on Bridget's Healthy Kitchen Family in the group, like, what do you guys want to learn? Number 1 was air frying techniques, which we did a class on yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Number 2 was this class, the stir frying class, and people wanted to know how to stir fry. Mwah! Tracy, good to see you, my love. I hope the chickens are well. And also, hi to Alison. Oh, you got the Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. Very good. Excited to get going. I'm excited for you as well. And good morning to Claire too, from Geraldine all the way in WA, the beautiful WA as well. So yes, we are doing the stir fry class because you asked for it. It was number 2 on the list. Number 3 was actually knife skills, but I brought that class forward, and we did that yesterday, because when it comes to stir frying, knife skills definitely is an important skill to have, because stir frying is one of those types of I suppose it's one of those cooking styles that requires a few steps, and preparation is definitely key. Hence why I did the knife skills class yesterday. Now, if you missed that class, that was a great class, and we literally went through how to chop like a chef, how to not chop off your fingers, all that sort of stuff. It was fantastic. You can go back and you can watch that class. Mahi, could you throw that link up to that class from yesterday, please? Because it really will start to make sense when we go through the stir fry class today, because preparation is 100% key. So when it comes to stir frying, it's pretty self-explanatory. We stir and we fry at the same time, but there are a few little elements that we need to take into consideration before we get to that point. So the first thing that we need to think about when it comes to stir frying is what type of equipment are you using. So when I'm talking about equipment, I'm not talking about cooktop. You can use gas, you can use electric, you can use induction, you can use a barbecue grill, you know, anything's possible when it comes to stir frying. What we're looking for is medium to high heat. So anything that can give you medium to high heat is going to give you a really good stir fry, because stir fry needs a lot of heat. And if the heat's too low, we stew instead of stir fry. So anything that gives you a really good heat, you could put it in the campfire if you really wanted to, and it's really hard to stir. I've tried it, trust me, but it can be done. So even in the campfire, because you know straight there on the embers and the flames can get really, really hot. So it's not really about what type of cooktop you use. It's more about what you use to cook your stir fry in. So I've got a couple examples here that I want to show you. The first one is one that I use every day. I love it, I adore it. It literally is probably my number one favorite pan or pot at the moment. Well, it's actually none of those. It's a wok. It's like this, and it is what is known as a flat bottomed wok, as you can see. So traditionally woks are rounded at the bottom, and the reason that they are rounded, and this is your traditional like forged in iron type of wok, it's just made out of a bit of metal. That wok is round bottom because it sits directly into a gas flame that can handle the fact that it's round bottomed. Now, those are not very common in domestic homes. You don't have a gas flame where your wok can actually sit directly into it. You may have a gas flame in your home, but it is not designed to have a round bottom wok sitting on it. So clever pot and pan manufacturers have designed for us a flat bottom wok, which is what I have here. So not your traditional wok, this is a flat bottom wok, and because it's a flat bottomed wok, it can work on any of those cooktops. So it can work on the gas, it can work on the induction, it can work on the ceramic, it can work on the electric, because the heat is directly impacting the base of this, which is going to heat up the wok. Now, is it as effective as a round bottom wok? No, it's not, because a round bottom wok is directly designed to sit within that. I suppose it's almost like it's encompassed by the heat, whereas the flat bottom wok, we're only getting heat from here. But provided you've got a good quality flat bottom wok, the heat's going to radiate up the sides, which is what you want. So if you don't have a flat bottom wok, like I have one that has a non-stick capability. You don't have to have one like that, but I do. It's got a good grip handle, which is the other thing I looked for. It's only about 30 centimeters, so it's not a large one, but it is a pretty decent one for my size household. And currently in our house, I'm feeding 6 to 7 a day, and I still can cook so many things, meals, just using this one wok. It's amazing, and I'll show you how that's done. If you don't have a flat bottom wok, but you still want to stir fry, remember, stirring and frying, that's all right. Do not panic, do not think you have to rush out and buy yourself a wok. What you can then use is a large, heavy bottomed frying pan. Will also get you, it won't be quite the same as this, but you will still get a great result from a large. You want to use the largest frying pan you have. Make sure it's quite heavy, because you want the heat in here to get really hot. If your frying pan is thin, then that metal won't get as hot as what my very heavy bottom, I'm using a Circulon frying pan here. It gets really hot. And so because it gets really hot, I'm able to stir fry really consistently. So thinned, metalled frying pans don't tend to work quite as well on this, but for some reason, thin metalled woks do. Don't know why. I think it's the design on how we're actually moving the food around, because it's kind of concave, it works really, really nicely. So you can use either of those two to create your dinner or lunch or whatever it is you're creating. Just get the largest one that you have, especially unless you're like a one person, then you can have a little small one. But if you're a family of 4 to 6, you want to get the largest one that you have available. So the bit of equipment does matter to a certain extent, but there's also the other preparation that we need to take into account. Now, none of the stuff that I'm talking about is hard. The stuff is all, once you know it, you go, that makes sense. This is really easy stuff. So don't think that I'm going to be suddenly taking through this really hard cooking class. This is actually really simple stuff. So I'm going to put these to the side. I don't need them quite yet, because remember, stir frying is all about preparation. Preparation is key. And because preparation is key, I'm going to bring you down to my bench so we can start to prepare together. So what I have down here today on my bench, obviously I have my wok. I'm using an induction cooktop, which is absolutely fine. In fact, I adore them because I do find that the heat, it gets really hot really, really quickly, which is nice. But the other thing that we need to be very mindful of is, what are we going to stir fry today? Come back up. What are we going to stir fry? Do you have any idea what you're going to stir fry? I'm not going to give you exact recipes about what you're going to stir fry, because the beauty about stir frying is pretty much you can stir fry anything. Anything that can be fried can be stir fried and made into a concoction of ingredients and deliciousness. So firstly, you need to decide what you want to stir fry. And I would literally look in your fridge and have a clean out. That's why this cooking is so good, especially now when we do not want to waste a single vegetable. We do not want to waste a single bit of protein. And when I'm talking about protein, I'm talking about raw meat, I'm talking about cooked meat, I'm talking about tofu, I'm talking about anything that gives us a bit of a protein hit. We don't have to stop doing, I'm just calling out to Mahi. We don't have to stop doing, sorry, just having a momentary lapse here. Just 1 second, we're just organizing. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, we've just got stuff happening around and I'm just waiting for that to yeah, okay, cool. All right, so if you could only see what I'm seeing, but that's all good. All right, Kath, I talk too much for a certain reason. People actually like it. If you don't like me talking, can you please tell me to stop talking? Because this is what we do. Cooking is not just about cooking. You've actually got to know why you're cooking it and what you're cooking. It makes so much sense. This is how I went through my entire career. Kath, if you don't like it, turn off. Like, seriously, go away. If you don't like me talking, this is what I do. I talk through these concepts with everyone. If you don't like it, I'm fine with that, because this is what happens. So sorry, we just had a momentary lapse behind me. It's now been diverted, but I've lost my train of thought now. We're still there, Mahi, we're still there. No, Mahi, we're still there. Could you please? Sorry, guys. It's just a little bit. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. All right, cool. Let's get into the stir fry. Right. Sorry, Kath, but I have no time for you not wanting me to talk. This is what I do. All right. We need to think about what we're going to be stir frying. And what we're going to be stir frying today is completely up to you. Look in your fridge. Like, literally go into your fridge, take your fridge apart, find out what you have left over. Today I did exactly that, and this is what I discovered. So in my fridge I had like a random carrot. I had some slightly wilted looking broccolini, which wasn't too great. I had some a little piece of red cabbage as well. I had a fennel bulb, and I went, you know what, that's going to be the base of my stir fry, because you need to think of your stir fry in a certain way. You need to have some protein, you need to have some vegetables, and you need to have some aromatics. So once you have those 3 things in place, and whatever they are, it doesn't actually matter. Everything I have in my bowl, which is my vegetables, could go with chicken, could go with beef, could go with tofu, could go with, roasted chicken. It really does not matter what you put into it. But because, sorry, I'm still put off. There's so much been happening in the last couple of minutes. I have decided that today I'm going to be doing mainly a vegetable stir fry, because that's kind of what I had in my fridge. Because I like to do things that are definitely more heavier in the vegetables, because it's better for our gut, and it's less important that we have protein. And I'm talking about chicken, beef, and all that. We can have a small amount provided the vegetables, because this is what's gut healthy. And one of the beauties as well is that what I'm finding when I'm going shopping in the supermarket is the veggie aisles are packed. People are panic buying things that you can't stir fry anyway, like flour, so we're all good. All right, so back down to the bench. Let's prep up the vegetables. It's the first thing that we need to start thinking about. And as I was saying to you guys, I have a number of vegetables here that I regularly use, and they just happen to be little pieces that may not make a complete meal if I was just to have something with cabbage, but in a stir fry, they're actually fantastic. So as I was saying earlier, when it came to doing the cutting class yesterday, I taught you guys how to use your knife, right? So sharpen your knife before you start going, definitely, which I have done, and then we can start to prepare our vegetables. And we want to think about preparing our vegetables in very even slices. So whatever it is that we're doing, whatever it is that you choose, whether it's a little bit of cabbage, or whether it's a little bit of broccoli, or maybe some cauliflower, any of those vegetables can go into a stir fry. The main thing that you need to be mindful of when you are making something like this is that your cuts are consistent. So if you start off cutting your cabbage that thick, that is as thick as your cabbage stays the entire time. You don't suddenly resort to having thicker slices, hence why that knife skills class was so important yesterday, because what it taught you guys is how to use your knife effectively and how to use your knife consistently as well. So prep your vegetables first. That's just something that we can do with a cabbage. Cabbage doesn't take very long to cook as well, so you've noticed that I haven't got it super thin, but I've got it in, it's fairly chunky, which is fine because cabbage doesn't take that long to cook. And now I'll show you guys how to prep up maybe a vegetable that is a little bit thicker, so it takes a little bit longer to cook. And I suppose one of the classics would be a carrot. Like, you wouldn't have your carrot that size because that takes a lot shorter to cook than that one does, yeah? So when it comes to something like our carrot, you can peel it or not, it's up to you. And whether you peel it, and one of the beauties about the carrot is look at the type of peeler that I'm using. That now becomes something that we stir fry. So you don't even have to think about adding a knife to this. You could do this on a mandolin as well, only because carrot is so thick and so, it takes so much longer to cook than say a piece of cabbage. I want to give it the same amount of time if I can. And remember, preparation is key, and consistency and cutting is also key as well. And so our carrot now has that ability to be able to stir fry along with our cabbage. So that's how you can do the carrot. And if you can't get down, you can just keep on going. Like literally just keep on going as far as you can with your peeler. I'm using what is known as a Rex peeler. So it's a wide peeler. And because it's a wide peeler, I get these really big ribbon-like slices from it, which is really awesome. And it works so well in a stir fry. It's almost like you're making carrot ribbons with this, like carrot fettuccine, which is really cool. Don't throw that away, by the way. And don't throw these away, by the way, your peelings. Because all of these things I'm keeping to make like vegetable stocks and stuff. So all of that is really good. You don't need to throw that away at all. Keep it off to the side. You can 100% use it later. All right, so that goes in like that. Another vegetable that you're probably wondering how to cut, considering we've now got cabbage and carrot, something like a bit of broccolini or a bit of broccoli. We want to, this doesn't take very long to cook because it's quite a quick cooking vegetable anyway, unlike our carrot, which takes a lot longer. So when it comes to the broccoli, you don't have to cut it in really small pieces. You can actually have your broccoli and you can go right down to the stalks as far as you can go. Stalks are delicious, and cut them into just sort of slices with your stalks there. Those will be wonderful. Keep all your vegetables separate too when you are prepping up, but definitely do this stage first before you do anything else. The first thing you want to do is you want to prep your vegetables, something like that, yeah? And make sure that Once again, all the same size. When it comes to the very tip of our broccoli, what are we going to do with it? Keep it full stop. Do not throw that away. Do not throw that little guy away. All right, what's another vegetable? What do you do with something like a piece of kale? So kale is very robust, for want of a better word. It is thick. It also requires quite a decent amount of cooking for it to become quite tender. So when it comes to something like kale, what I would do with kale is I would actually blanch that first. So I would take the kale, the pieces of kale, before it goes into the wok, and I would pop it into some boiling water for about 3 or 4 minutes. And what you will end up with is this cooked piece of kale, which is going to be way easier to stir fry than say this, because this does require a bit of time. It's a bit like, I always like to say, treat kale like silver beet. Silver beet, you wouldn't, like, you know, if you throw spinach in a wok, it goes from being like this to being like this in a matter of seconds, whereas kale takes a long time to break down because it's quite fibrous. So when it comes to stir frying a really big vegetable like kale or silver beet, or chard, it's another name for silver beet, is I would blanch it first in boiling water for around about 2 to 3 minutes until it's soft and pliable, so much so that you don't mind popping that in your mouth and eating it. That's the best way to tell whether it's actually those fibers have broken down. That is now going to be really easy to stir fry, way easier than that. Yeah? So when it comes to thick greens, but other greens, and when I'm speaking about other greens, I'm talking about spinach, I'm talking about Asian vegetables. None of these require much time. You have to blanch those. Those can go straight into the wok. Once you do your preparation is easy. You just want to cut it into strips, just like that. All right? That's how you do your soft, delicate vegetables, like your Asian greens, like your spinach, all those things that only require seconds as opposed to lots of time, which would be your kale as well. So that's how you do those types of vegetables. And the last vegetable I'm going to show you, just because I know it's quite common within our kitchens and within our places of dining, it's a huge one. It's a zucchini. Look at him. He's quite generous size, isn't he? He's quite a big boy. I'm just going to find a tea towel. I've lost my tea. 1 second, guys. Lost my tea towel. Oh, there we go. Just going to give him a bit of a wipe down. I soak, when I get my vegetables from the supermarket or the market, wherever I'm getting them from, I put them into a sink with some white vinegar, just to give them a bit of a gentle scrub. So he just had a bit of a sink stuff salt on him. It's a really nice idea if you are getting vegetables, just to wash them in the sink. Throw them in the sink with a little bit of vinegar. I just use white vinegar. In the sink, not too much, you know, a couple of capsfuls of white vinegar, and white vinegar is really cheap to buy, and then I just give it a gentle wipe down after that, just to get rid of any, you know, nasty bits and pieces that might be on it. So when it comes to our zucchini, I will definitely not do zucchini spirals or zucchini noodles. Do not do that. You don't have to cook zucchini noodles. Zucchini noodles should never be cooked, because when you cook a zucchini noodle, it just turns to mush. So when it comes to something like zucchini and you're wanting to stir fry it, the best way to do it, remember, we're keeping this for vegetable stock. Don't throw it away. It's going over there onto my little bowl. When it comes to zucchini, the best way to do it is literally to slice it, like you would expect to see it in a chow mein or something along those lines. So you can either slice it into half circles. Once again, consistency is key here. We're doing the same thing we learned yesterday when it comes to chopping. I've got my claw, and all I'm doing is I'm moving my knife up and down. Hand is staying exactly still. So you can either do, you know, half circles like that, which are absolutely fine. Just seeing how is this coming along as a little stir fry bowl? Isn't it looking delicious? Just like that, looking great. Or you can put it on, if you want a little bit of an angle, and angles, there's nothing wrong with a bit of an angle. And you can just have lovely angles on your zucchini. But the main thing to remember when you're doing this is that you're doing consistent cuts. So everything is the same size with those cuts. So take your time. Don't rush this process. Take your time. We've got time now. Well, I've definitely got time. I'm quarantined, so I've got time to take that little, you know, couple extra minutes just to cut the vegetables good, so that our stir fry turns out really, really nice. So that's our vegetables in a bit of a nutshell. those are our veg. And have a bit of a wipe down of our bench. What about, so that's, as I was saying, there's 3 steps, right? There's protein, there's aromatics, and there is vegetables. Vegetables are done. Whatever you've got in your fridge, go for it. If the vegetables are thicker and harder, to take longer to cook, cut them thin. If they don't take as long, like a zucchini, or a bit of spinach, or my Asian greens, cut them thinner. Pretty easy, right? Take your time. Take your time and enjoy the process. All right, so that's our vegetables done. What about protein? And what does protein look like? So protein could be anything. Protein could literally be chicken. Protein could be pork. Protein could be beef. Protein could be tofu. It could be certain types of legumes like chickpeas or something along those lines. It's completely up to you what you use for protein, but protein definitely does help to counterbalance, and we're trying to look for a balance in our stir fry. So once you've got your vegetables, whatever you like, choose your protein, whatever you like. How cool is that? That's why stir frying is so good. It literally is a clean out the fridge meal. And it's one of those delicious meals that you can have any single time if you've got vegetables, protein, and aromatics. So when it comes to protein, what have I got today? Like literally, I've got bacon, because why not? Chicken's an obvious when it comes to protein, because it's cheap, it's plentiful, it's really lean as well. I had no chicken defrosted. All my chicken's in the freezer because I am literally, stocking up when it comes to, well, not stocking up, but I'm keeping as much of my meats frozen, so I only take out what I need to use for the day. And today I had bacon out. So of course you can use bacon. Bacon has natural bit of fat on it, which is really, really good. I'm using a nitrate-free bacon. Has fat, so that fat's going to render down and help to give flavor to our stir fry. And when it comes to protein, once again, you just want to consistently and very evenly slice whatever it is you're using. It doesn't matter if I'm cutting chicken right now. I could be cutting pork, I could be cutting lamb, I could be cutting beef, but I am doing the same type of consistent small cut. That way, that tiny bit of bacon could go through so many people's meals just by using that small amount, which is really important because I've cut it small enough that it can actually go through when we start to stir fry. So when it comes to protein, less is more. You don't need that much because we're going to get the flavor from the next component of our stir fry, which is the final one, which is our aromatics. So when it comes to aromatics, think of the word aromatic, shorten it, aroma, things that give flavor and smell, and it gives such a delightful, touch to what is essentially just vegetables and protein, which can be a bit boring, right? So when it comes to aromatics, they're the stuff that we use all the time anyway. So think about this. Chopped ginger, chopped garlic. You know where I'm going with this, right? Onion as well is a beautiful aromatic. You might want to add a bit of chili for a little bit of spice in there as well. So those are your basic aromatics. Spring onion is also an aromatic. Shallots are aromatics. You could do fresh turmeric grated in. You guys know what fresh turmeric is? I'll just grab it from the fridge right now. Oh no, it's in the back fridge, I can't do it, but it looks like a ginger root. You could do fresh turmeric grated into it as well. So aromatics are things that give flavor and they make your sinuses go, oh, I've cleaned out, thank you very much. So think about your aromatics that you want to use. And you don't have to add all of them. You could just add like 1 or 2 aromatics. That's completely up to you. But you can use anything. So maybe you've just got ginger. That is an aromatic. It will give flavor. Maybe you've just got garlic, 100%. It can be roast garlic, it can be chopped garlic, it can be minced garlic. It does not actually matter. The same with onion. A little bit of onion goes a long way in a stir fry because it helps to flavor the ingredients that you're about to put into there. So once you've got your aromatics sorted, whatever it might be, once you've got your vegetables sorted, whatever they might be, and once you have your protein sorted and everything is cut consistently, we can finally get into the motion of actually stir frying. It's taken us a while to get here. We are finally here. All right, so stir frying. Let me just move everything down so you guys can see what's happening in the wok. So turning it on, you want to turn it on to medium to high, yeah, to begin with. Because I have everything prepped, ready to go, really important. Do not turn this on till you've cut your vegetables and you've cut your protein and you have your aromatics ready. For me today, I have my chopped garlic that I'm going to be putting into as an aromatic. These are all ready. I have, like, literally, look at my chopping board. Look at it. Everything's done. Get everything done before you turn on your wok, because it happens really quickly in here. And you can't be chopping and, you know, grating things when the heat is starting to really come out of your wok. So get all that prep done. Preparation is key. Preparation is key. I don't need that anymore. I'm also considering what type of utensil to use in my wok. Ideally you use a wooden spoon because it won't scratch the surface. This is not necessarily a great idea because that will scratch the surface. You can use tongs if you've got rubber ends on it, or if you're just really careful with your tongs. But ideally you're using like a round wooden spoon, or you're using this type of wooden spoon as well in there. You can use, at a pinch, one of these, a little plastic spatula. Just make sure it's completely heat proof. If you've got a normal plastic one, you may actually burn it on there. So that's not completely suggested. I would suggest you start with something like this, yeah, with your wok. So, wok's on, getting hot. I'm feeling the heat coming from it, really, really important. I'm now going to think about my aromatics, and I'm also going to think about the type of liquid I put in here to begin with that's going to help to moisturize the pan. You could use tamari, so a gluten-free tamari works absolutely well. If you wanted to use a little bit of oil, there's a couple of oils that I would suggest that you use. One of them is coconut oil because it has a really high heat sensitivity. The other one that I would suggest that you use is an avocado oil. Do not use olive oil because olive oil burns. Just don't do it. It's a waste of olive oil. And stay away from, if you can, toxic oils like vegetable oils, canola oils, rapeseed oils, what else have we got there? Rice bran oils. Stay away from all those type of oils. If you can, go for your coconut, your avocado. And if you can't do any of those, then you can also go to my sticky sauce. Haha! Which makes things absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to be using a bit of sticky sauce in there. First thing I'm going to do, on medium to hot, I've just turned down the heat a little bit. I'm going to add in my aromatics. This could be your onion, this could be your ginger, this can be your garlic as well. Now it goes in. Depending on how much you're making and depending on how much you love garlic and ginger will determine how much you put in. I probably put in maybe 1.5 tablespoons is in there right now. Give it a little bit of a stir. What's happening now with our stir fry is our onions or our garlic or our ginger, for me it's just garlic, is beginning to bloom and the spices are beginning to really expand and the flavors are really beginning to dominate in that pan, which is what I want. And because I'm using bacon, that is going to be the next thing that I add in. So my protein is going to go in next. Haven't even considered adding any vegetables. It's all about batch cooking and doing things in smaller amounts as opposed to throwing everything in and trying to stir fry, because that does not work. When it comes to stir frying, we have to batch cook, really important. We cook things separately and then we combine things afterwards. So I'm separately cooking that bacon or that protein, could be chicken, could be beef, could be lamb. I'm cooking that now with the garlic and just allowing the fat from the bacon to begin to render down. And you've noticed what I'm doing here, I haven't stopped stirring. That is the secret. Never stop stirring. I'm not doing this on a low heat. Remember, I'm doing this on a medium to high heat. I have not stopped stirring the whole time. It will give your arm a bit of a workout, which is great as well, which is wonderful. All right. Couple of minute, 30 seconds to 60 seconds, depending on the size of your protein. If you have a lot of protein, batch cook it as well. So you don't want to overcrowd your pan because you won't actually fry. Remember, you will stew, and that is the opposite of stir frying. This is not stewing, this is stir frying. So if you have a lot of protein because you're cooking for a lot of people, you may want to do 1 to 2 handfuls at a time and then batch cook it. So once that batch is done, so once you've done enough frying here, it's smelling really good and it's looking really good, just put it into a bowl and then you can move on to the next ingredient. So I'm just going to scrape it all into there. You don't have to wash your pan in between batches because all that flavor is on there. I want to make use of that flavor because that's all the protein I've got. I'm now going to quickly move on to my vegetables. So once again, we're going to be batch cooking. We're going to be cooking the vegetables separately because they all cook at different times. So I'm going to throw in the zucchini first. Medium to high heat, remember, bit of zucchini. And now I'm just going to add in as well just a little bit of coconut oil. You don't have to add coconut oil. You could add a bit more sticky sauce at this point in time if you wanted to. I'm adding just a little bit of coconut oil, just for flavour. Remember, medium to hot. And what are we doing the whole time? We are stir frying. I think the real key components here, when it comes to stir frying, is you're constantly moving the food around. Yeah? You're constantly working on it. This is one of those activities where you do need to stay present. So staying available, staying in front of it, staying here is really important because it's going to help the food to cook evenly and cook quickly. If I was just to do this and then walk away, you know that the ones that are on the bottom are going to burn and the ones that are not are just going to still be raw. So you kind of want to avoid that if you can. And the way that you avoid that is by stirring frequently. Well, constantly is probably a better word. Stirring constantly. They don't need much. Remember this, when it comes to these type of vegetables, you want to have a bit of a bite to it. If you are having it here for too long, you're probably not going to get a bit of a bite. You're going to get more of a soggy, which is not what we want. So I'm pretty happy with even that amount of stir frying. I'm pretty happy with it. Yes, we have a question.
Someone asked no onion?
Yeah, you can add onion. It's an aromatic. Yep, you add whatever you want. So someone asked, can I add onion? Look what I'm adding now. I'm adding cabbage and the carrot. You can 100% add the onion if you want to. As I said, it's up to you. But think of onion as an aromatic. And the point is, you don't have to, right? I've just added more sticky sauce, by the way. You don't have to. If you don't have onion in your house, it does not mean you cannot make a stir fry. Remember, you can add any vegetable that you want. This is the beauty of stir frying, is you can add any vegetable that you want to the mix. And right now, what I have in there, I would quite happily eat that by itself. Just that cabbage and that carrot, oh my goodness, and that sticky sauce. And we have the flavors left over there from the cucumber, from the zucchini and the bacon and the garlic. It already smells like heaven. And honestly, it smells really, really good. And it smells so good, and it's almost, even, that's all this needs, by the way. Cabbage and thin carrot do not need much. So, I'm going to take it out. It is done. You may think, are you sure it's done? It's totally done. Alright. The reason I'm able to stick my pot onto my dish onto my cooktop is this is a induction, and it doesn't heat up, so there you go. Alright, so we've got cabbage, we've got carrot, we've got zucchini, we've got bacon. Let's go with the last one here, which is just my Asian greens. Oh, actually, you know what? The broccolini went in there at the same time. So we've got some broccolini pieces in there as well. That's all ready to go. Give it a bit of a shake. Let's go with a bit more sticky. Not too much, just a little bit. Doesn't need much. Instead of sticky here, what you could also do is just add a bit of water. It'll start to steam. And as you add a little bit of water, you're going to be picking up all the stuff that's stir fried to the base, like all that wonderful garlic that's stir fried to the base. You've now picked it up and you're starting to create a little bit of a sauce. Now when it comes to Asian greens, spinach, all that sort of stuff, remember they need seconds, not hours in the wok. They are the perfect vegetable to stir fry. Like seriously, they are perfect. Even after that short amount of time, what is that, 20 seconds, I'm now going to put these back in here. We're getting ready to serve. Those go back in. Zucchini is going back in. Give it a bit of a blend. Look at that, lunch is nearly ready. Alright, bacon, here we go. Bacon's in. And now we have quite quickly a wonderful meal just like that. there's only one more thing to do, and that is to add some flavor. I haven't added any salt here. I haven't even added a sauce. So what you could do if you wanted to add a flavor, what I've done now is I've made a little bit of a well in the middle. A little bit of a well in the middle. I'm now taking a sauce that I had in my fridge. It's just like a gravy that was left over from another dish, and I'm going to add it to the middle of that, and that is going to create the sauce for our dish. You could add sticky sauce to this. You could just even add water. You could add kombu. You could add anything that's going to create a little bit of a sauce, and make it quite sticky, which is what you want, which is going to be just stunning. So that's all I've done with that. I've just added that little bit of sauce to there in the middle. I'm also going to add in, of course, a bit of seasoning, a bit of salt goes in as well. And that is pretty much it done. We are almost ready to serve. So I'm just going to clean down my bench so I don't look like a piggy wiggy, even though I've had a bit of fun. Stir frying is a messy game, by the way. It's messy, just in case you're wondering. Stir frying is a messy game. All right. But that's okay. Mess is good because you can always clean up mess. Bowl to serve into. Give it one last little mix here. I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to turn, where is that little cord? I'm going to turn off the right one. There we go. Noisy thing. Time to plate up. This is simple. Oh, the smell coming off this is you have just created a masterpiece of stir frying. So simple to do, but so satisfying to eat. And all we have in here is vegetables. You know, if you wanted to add some type of rice noodle, you could do that at this point in time. Once it's off of the heat and you have already heated the rice noodles like you would pasta, you can put that through if you wanted to bulk it out. But I'm really happy with it just being this. Like seriously, for me, this is more than enough. Wow. This is more than what is required. If you wanted to, there is nothing stopping you from this, at this point, from adding a garnish as well. Yes, we have a question.
Let them know I'm going to make the sticky sauce recipe available only for the next hour.
Okay, Mahei was just saying that he's going to make the sticky sauce recipe available for the next hour. I don't know, where are you doing that?
I'll release it in the channel. Just
He's gonna
those people who watch you live.
Ah, so for all the people who've watched me live and they don't know what sticky sauce is in both of my cookbooks. It's in Bridget's Healthy Kitchen and it's in More from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. It's also in pretty much every single one of my ebooks, apart from the Healthy Treats ebook. But Mahei was just saying that he's going to make that sticky sauce available for anyone who wants it as well. He's going to make it available. And what does that mean in channel for people who don't understand in channel?
They click on the link and they'll receive it via messenger.
But where are they going to find it?
In this
video? In the video. Okay, so the sticky sauce is going to be available in the video, but the last thing you can do with the stir fry, oh, I know, right? It's like, yeah, me, quarantine cooking, is you can add a little bit of garnish. And garnish is not necessary, it just makes things delicious. The garnish that I'm adding today is one of my favorites. If you have watched any of my videos previously, and I have hundreds of videos available here on Facebook or available on my YouTube channel, Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, you will know that I'm a huge fan of these, and these are broccoli sprouts. So broccoli sprouts, you can find them where you would normally find like alfalfa and mung bean sprouts and all that sort of stuff, but broccoli sprouts are 100 times healthier than normal broccoli. So I've just stuck on something on there that is just taking our stir fry to a whole new level. Now you don't cook broccoli sprouts because it ruins them. That's why I've just added them on the top. Broccoli sprouts are amazing. You can grow them yourself, which is exciting, but they are 100 times healthier than broccoli. You have the biggest and the bestest and the most delicious immune boosting stir fry right here that you can make. I'm so excited for lunch. I am. So there it is. Mahei's going to release for you guys. He's just released it now. The sticky sauce recipe, which can make your stir fries just delicious and wonderful. But remember, vegetables, protein, aromatics, garnish if you want, not necessarily. Sauce if you want, not necessarily. You can also do water or kombu or vegetable stock or chicken stock. But this is lunch. This is quarantine cooking. This is using up what you have. There is no specific recipe because it depends what you have in your fridge. And now that you know the fundamentals, which is to chop your vegetables consistently, chop your protein consistently, small, thin, batch cook, medium to high heat, you're going to be in stir fry masterpiece as well, or stir fry master cook as well. So thank you for joining me today. We've got lots more quarantine cooking classes coming up from what you've wanted. If there's any other quarantine cooking classes that you'd like to see, back to basics, let us know and we will start to program them in. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today. It has been marvelous seeing you. Please stay safe, please stay well, and to everyone who's watching, we wish you the best of health. We will talk to you soon. Take care.